This week, we're diving into the art of building influence and earning respect. In any career, your ability to inspire trust, motivate others, and stand out as a leader is key to long-term success. Influence isn't about power of control, it's about connection, authenticity, and showing up consistently as someone that people want to follow. Respect doesn't happen overnight, and it can't be demanded. It's earned through action, empathy, and integrity. So whether you're leading a team, managing relationships, or simply looking to make your voice heard, the strategies we explore this week will help you leave a lasting impression while staying true to who you are. Speaking of leading teams and managing relationships, check out this week's thought leader. He's a chief operations officer of a metropolitan health system, college lecturer, husband, father, mentor, and a total difference maker. His message will leave you feeling inspired and ready to take action. Let's get ready to learn how to navigate relationships, elevate your presence, and lead with purpose. This week is all about inspiring your power to level up. Let's get it, hustlers.
Greetings. My name is Herron Mitchell. I am currently a hospital administrator for Foremost Family Health Centers, which is a federally qualified health system in South Dallas, 5 locations that service the whole community, from fully insured patients to patients that are below the poverty level. I started my career in manufacturing, working for a automobile Fortune 500 company, General Motors, one of the big 3. And I spent about 9 years there, moving through various positions, ranging from central office, where I was covering material availability, to actually direct plant manufacturing production. And so that's where I learned Lean and Six Sigma, which was a pathway for me into healthcare, where my first job was at Heartland Health, St. Joseph, Missouri, which is a Baldrige Award-winning hospital. They really embraced Lean and Six Sigma and needed individuals like myself that had that skill set to come in and promote that. I then moved to Dallas, Texas, working for Parkland Health, one of the major anchor hospitals in Dallas County. And now I'm at my current position. It's a non-traditional path, but what I feel is that all of it was transferable, lots of transferable skills from manufacturing into healthcare, things that I bring with me and I use to make our patients' journey through their continuum of care both safe, efficient, effective, and equitable, and also patient-centered. The thing that inspired me, or that is the basis of why I chose this path, and what I've done all my life, is I really like to help human beings, whether that be with their education or their financial position or their health, now with their health. So as the undercurrent of anything that I do, it is trying to help society be better. And really, if I am fortunate enough to retire, to look back on my career and say that I did enough to make my mark on the human community. So specifically, I've worked in underserved areas in different capacities really all my life. And my mother is a retired nurse, and I think that's the first taste I had at volunteerism. I was actually a candy striper at the hospital. They didn't call us candy stripers, but it was the equivalent. They call us porters. And so I would transport patients around, had hundreds of hours at the local hospital where she worked, where I just worked for free, helping patients. And then that has actually transcended throughout my career. Even when I was at General Motors, when I was in Detroit, I used to help inner city children with taking SAT, ACT. I simply cannot stay on the bench. And that in itself drives me personally and professionally to seek out areas that need my type of expertise and where I can make a career out of it. And I've been able to do that for just going on about 20 years now in some type of capacity. So really it's helping people and just solving problems. When you think about success, I think that as you move throughout your career, it changes. When I was younger, it was maybe getting the next position or the next challenge. Now it is really looking at some of the measures and metrics that define the organizations that I'm aligned with, and seeing, are we really making an impact in the community? That is really what drives what I would call success. So it's not so much my success. I think as I've gotten older, it's my team's success, my organization's success, and then how is that impacting the external environment, especially when we're talking about healthcare, when it's a very people-centered, very patient-centered industry. Are we making people healthier? So personally, success is what do I come home to? That's kind of linked to what you do at work. Can I look myself in the mirror and say, have I done enough? But then also, can I look at my family and see, are they successful? Am I supporting my wife? Am I supporting my children as they go off and start their lives? And with that being said, I think that I've been extremely successful in terms of personal. Professionally, healthcare is difficult. So as long as you have that drive, I think that if you keep pushing toward that nirvana, which is really theoretically something you'll never aspire to, you're just getting far enough to hand the baton to the next person. That's success. And as far as my family is concerned personally, as long as they're there to smile and look at me and say they were happy, that's success for me. Some of the misconceptions have changed over time, and a lot of it was fueled by the COVID pandemic. A lot of misconceptions in the community about trust and integrity in the industry, whether or not the industry had your best intentions or your best safety or your best health as part of their key goals. I think there was kind of a gap started, and because before the pandemic, it was trust your physician. During the pandemic, there was a little bit of, and I think the public pulled back a little bit. So it behooves us to try to work to make sure that we regain their trust around vaccinations, around these care plans that we put in place. And I think really, due to the Affordable Care Act and where we're going with value-based care, that is really where we need to go. Prior, it was fee-for-service, so you come in, it's kind of like being on a hamster wheel. You never were getting healthy. Right now, we're being incentivized for making populations more healthy. And really, that in the core is how we're going to get quality medicine out. And I think once people understand that we're looking more holistically at the patient and their total health, then the trust will come back. And we got to have to get the payment structure right. Right now, all the money is kind of going to the healthcare, the hospital systems, where really, if we took that same money and invested on preventative medicine, you will probably receive multiples on improvements in healthcare. So those are some of the misconceptions, and we have a long way to go, but we're working on it. We are undergoing some of the most difficult times in healthcare right now, with staffing shortages, funding reductions, like I mentioned before, kind of mistrust from the public. But I will say within the last 5 years, the most significant challenge I ever had was COVID. And I was placed in charge of standing up 2 sites in Dallas County with the government, working with FEMA, working with local government officials and departments to stand it up. That was the largest operation that I've ever undertaken. And when I say in charge, I mean in charge from at the time, Parkland Health perspective. I was over the operational part. We had many other leaders that helped with this, that were my compadres from Dallas Fire and Rescue, from the water department, even leadership from Parkland who basically left their job and came out to the sites to be at ground zero so we could set up testing. That was very difficult. It was a major organization. Everybody had their eyes on it. From the local politicians to government entities like FEMA, like the Department of Health. So all eyes were on me from if you take Tupac phrase, and it was stressful. But because of my background in manufacturing and because I put a great team together, we were able to take the government's concept of operations, improve upon it, and we actually got to where we were seeing 1,000 people a day per site. And we never were off. We're 7 days a week. That was the most grueling schedule I've ever had. And I'm thankful that I went through it, but I don't wish that on anybody. That was the most challenging thing that I ever did. I would just like to say thanks, Patrick, for having me on. I would tell everyone, don't look badly on your mistakes. And what I mean by that is, the only real mistake that you can make in your life is not trying something. If you fail at something, that's a learning experience. I think Nelson Mandela actually put it masterfully when he said, I never fail, I just learn. So don't be afraid to try new things. Have the courage to stand up for your ethical background, what you believe is right, and push for what your belief system says you can push for. Because really, in the long run, it's about you and how you develop yourself and how you feel when you go home, how you feel when you walk away from those types of situations. Just make sure that you're always finding your ethical base and using that to move forward, because that's how industries get better. We are led by, or we are influenced by and directed by our culture. You cannot process improve yourself or cut yourself or reduce yourself out of a bad culture. You can't make quality gains, you have a bad culture. Culture is a group of stories. It's a group collectively how we feel about ourselves and how we react to those principles that have been created by each organization that drive us to do the things that we do. Tell us how we do things, how we interact with patients, how we increase our customer satisfaction. And that starts with you. You are all the change that an organization needs. And sometimes you can vote by getting promoted, or you can go vote with your feet, but always remain true to yourself.
Absolutely. So also one thing I'm very passionate about is education. Educating why they are taking what they're taking. Why is this going to help them? So when you know why you're doing something, you will do it mindfully. It's not going to be an auto mode. It's not a muscle memory. You're going to be consciously thinking, oh, it's not like in your pill box and you're just saying, oh, this is every day. No, you want to know how this works, why you're taking this. Is there a way for us to come off of this? That education is very important. So I spend more time with my patients in the patient room. I get into trouble because I don't get to finish my notes on time, because I'm always back. I'm staying late in the clinic because I'm behind on patients, but it's okay. It's a usual thing. It's not just for one patient. So my patients do understand me. They are the best. It is pretty amazing that when you educate people, that is a light itself.
Respect and influence, two things that every professional wants, but can't just grab out of thin air. Here's the truth. They aren't about being the loudest in the room or having a fancy title. They're built on how you carry yourself, how you treat others, and how consistent you are in your actions. So how do you earn respect and become someone who people naturally gravitate towards at work? Let's break it down. 1, be a person of your word. If you say that you're going to do something, do it. Consistency and reliability are your foundation. Missing deadlines, breaking promises, or showing up late, that's only going to chip away at your trust faster than anything. Even in high pressure situations, communicate openly. Let people know if there's a challenge, but never leave them guessing. 2, lead with empathy. You want to stand out as someone who's worth listening to? Show you care. Learn people's names, acknowledge their contributions, and don't shy away from tough conversations. Respect starts with understanding what others are feeling, what they need, and how you can help. When you make people feel valued, they naturally see you as someone that they respect and follow. 3, master your craft. Competence earns confidence. When you're great at what you do, people will take notice, stay curious, and never stop sharpening your skills. But don't hoard knowledge. Share it. Teaching and mentoring others is one of the quickest ways to establish influence while leaving a positive mark. 4, stay humble. Nobody respects a know-it-all. Confidence is important, but humility, it'll keep you grounded. Admit mistakes, celebrate team wins over individual ones, and never act like you're too good to roll up your sleeves to do the hard work. 5, speak up with purpose. When you have something to say it. Make it count. Be clear, concise, and thoughtful. People respect those who bring ideas to the table and offer solutions instead of just pointing out the problems. Choose your moments wisely. Don't just speak to hear your own voice. Earning respect and influence is a marathon, not a sprint. It's the little things done consistently over time that build solid reputation. Building a reliable, empathetic, skilled, humble, and intentional with your words, you naturally become someone who others trust and look up to. Respect is earned, not given. Influence is built, not demanded. Start laying the groundwork today and watch how your presence begin to change the game. You've got this. Stay consistent, stay authentic, and always lead with integrity. That's how you turn heads and leave a legacy. Let's get it.
Let me tell you about someone who started at the very bottom, but ended up as the kind of leader others aspire to be. Her name is Alexis. Alexis didn't come from privilege, connections, or even a fancy degree. Her first job was as an entry-level assistant in a chaotic, high-pressure office. From day one, Alexis knew she had to prove herself, not just through hard work, but by earning the respect of her colleagues, one small action at a time. At first, no one noticed her. Her tasks were thankless, her hours long, and her voice unheard. But Alexis made a choice. Instead of complaining or fading into the background, she decided to focus on what she could control: her attitude, her work ethic, and how she treated others, earning trust through action. When someone needed a hand, Alexis was there. When deadlines loomed and tensions ran high, she stayed calm and dependable. Her co-workers started to realize that she wasn't just there to clock in and out. She genuinely cared about the team's success. One time, during a major project, a senior manager missed a critical deadline. Alexis, though not responsible, stayed late to piece things together and kept the project moving. She didn't do it for recognition. She did it because she believed in showing up when it mattered most. Leading without the title, Alexis also made it a point to listen. She didn't just hear what people said, she understood what they meant. She asked questions, offered help, and made others feel seen. This made her the go-to person, even before she had any formal authority. When conflicts arose, Alexis had a way of diffusing them with grace. She didn't take sides or play politics. Instead, she focused on solutions, earning her a reputation as someone who could be trusted to navigate tough situations. The turning point, years passed, and Alexis slowly moved up the ladder. But the real turning point came during an unexpected crisis. The company faced a major shakeup, and leadership had to be reorganized. To everyone's surprise, Alexis, still relatively young in her career, was chosen to lead a key department. Her promotion wasn't because of flashy presentations or self-promotion. It was because people knew she was reliable, empathetic, and always focused on the bigger picture. Her team respected her, not because of her title, but because of who she was, the influence. Today, Alexis is a senior executive, mentoring the next generation of professionals. Her influence doesn't come from the corner office or her title. It comes from the years she spent earning trust, showing empathy, and leading by example. Alexis's journey teaches us that true respect and influence aren't given, they're earned. It's about being consistent, staying authentic, and putting in the work every day. So, if you're wondering how to build influence and gain respect, remember Alexis. Start where you are. Focus on the small, meaningful actions that add up over time. Show up for others, stay humble, and never underestimate the power of quiet persistence. Respect is earned in the trenches through every interaction, every choice, and every effort. And just like Alexis, you can build a legacy that inspires others to follow in your footsteps.
Influence doesn't come overnight, and it's not about grand gestures or flashy speeches. True influence is built brick by brick through the small, consistent actions you take every day. So this week, we're focusing on the little things you can do to earn respect and make an impact in your workplace. Challenge 1. Be reliable. Let's start simple. If you commit to something, follow through. Whether it's meeting a deadline, joining a meeting on time, or lending a hand to a colleague, reliability builds trust faster than words ever could. This week, challenge yourself to deliver on every promise, no matter how small. Challenge 2. Listen more. Speak less. Influence often starts with understanding others. Instead of jumping into conversations with your opinions, make it a goal to listen actively. Ask questions, nod to show you're engaged, and really absorb what others are saying. People respect those who take the time to hear them out. Challenge 3. Acknowledge others. Building influence isn't about shining the spotlight on yourself. It's about sharing it. This week, make it a point to acknowledge someone else's effort. Whether it's a quick, great job in a meeting or an email thanking a colleague for their work, showing gratitude strengthens relationships and boosts your credibility. Challenge 4. Stay positive under pressure. When things get tough, your reaction speaks volumes. Try to stay calm and solution-focused even when the pressure's on. A positive attitude under stress inspires confidence in your leadership, even if you're not in a leadership role yet. Challenge 5. Take initiative. If you see a problem or an opportunity, don't wait for someone else to step in. Volunteer to help, suggest a solution, or offer your skills. Even small initiatives like organizing a team lunch or brainstorming new ideas show that you're proactive and invested. Reflect and share at the end of the week. Take a moment to reflect. Did these actions make a difference? Did someone notice? More importantly, did you feel more confident in how you connect with others? Share your experience with a friend, mentor, or even your team. Remember, influence isn't about being the loudest or the most authoritative. It's about showing up consistently as someone others can trust, respect, and depend on. Small actions repeated daily can lead to big shifts in how people see you and how you see yourself. Let's start today. One small step, one meaningful action at a time. You've got this.
Welcome to Health Hustle Chronicles, where the grind meets growth in the world of healthcare. This ain't your typical podcast. I'm here to shine light on the talent that's out there hustling every day. Introduce you to coaches who can level up your game, and break down exactly how you can climb the ladder in this industry. Whether you're just stepping in or already in the trenches, I'm going to give you the real deal on how to elevate beyond the road and claim what's yours. I'm talking about unlocking opportunities that seem hidden, finding leadership when it feels like no one's got your back, and building a roadmap to success even when the path ain't clear. From time management to battling self-doubt, lack of mentorship, to the struggle of getting noticed. I get it. I've been there. And I'm going to bring you that hustle mindset with every episode so you can take that next step towards career growth and wealth. If you're ready to go beyond surviving and start thriving in healthcare, then this podcast is for you. It's time to hustle harder, grow smarter, and elevate together. Let's get it, hustlers.